Hey, what's up, fam? We are live. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Look, this is how we're going to do to get our week started, man. If you want to know what's going on in the market and how to play it, you are in the right place. And I hope y'all had a great day. Okay, I see we got action. Let's go ahead and get started right now. Thank y'all for locking in. By watching or reading this, you're saying you understand the following. I am not a financial advisor, and this is not trading advice. This session is solely for educational purposes. There is significant financial risk associated with options trading, and I'm not liable for your wins or losses in the market. If you decide to act on this information, now let's just hop right into things because we have a big week coming up. All right, so we're just going to jump right into top options flow. So pretty much this is the top call options flow and put options flow from last Friday that just passed. So we had this past week, we had the top flow went into NVIDIA and MCSI, followed by DoorDash, Coin, Apple, MMM, and SQ. On the put side, the top flow went into Robinhood, Microsoft, SMH, Amazon, and MU. Interesting. All right. Now, for the full week, we had the top call flow went into TLT, which is interesting, followed by AMD, DoorDash, MCSI, and TER. Not sure what TER is. Gonna have to take a look at that. And then ServiceNow is on there. Actually, I got to make a note of ServiceNow. Let me note that right now so we can cover that a little later. Let me see what's going on. All right. Now, for the put side for the week, we had the top flow went into NVIDIA, SMH, Meta, Tesla, Google. All right. So let's just move on. Now, sector performance. Now, so we had you can see mostly everything was bearish. We had a red week, everything finished red on Friday. Now, besides real estate, which was like barely green, the only green sectors were consumer staples and utilities. And we talk about this a lot that when the market is in turmoil and everyone's afraid, they go into defensive stocks, because when people want to pull their money out of the market when everything is going down and people start talking about a recession and stuff like that. But like Jim Cramer always says, there's a bull market somewhere, right? And people they think about things that can thrive in any market, so the stocks that are in consumer staples are the Walmarts, the Colgates, and the Target, stuff like that. Well, not Target, but Walmart, Colgate. um think of stocks that would do well in P&G, Procter and Gamble, stuff like that. Because it doesn't matter if we're having a pandemic, a recession, a war, anything, you're still gonna go to Walmart. You're still gonna need toothpaste and stuff like that. So you gotta think like that. And then utilities, because you need energy regardless, right? So those are green sectors, and people are moving into those sectors and dumping tech, dumping consumer discretionary and everything. So that's why we had that on Friday. Let's move on. All right. See, I didn't do a chart for this week, so this is an old chart, old slide. I didn't update this slide, but shout out to the team. I'm just going to shout out to the whole team because we had some really great trades last week, and we'll get to that in a little while. So I didn't update this slide, so we're going to leave this one alone. All right, but we did update the July profits, man. We crushed July. Now look, so check this out. The we for July on here, I have it listed as $8,480. So look, so that means if you just grab one contract for every single trade that I alerted, just one option for every single trade that I alerted, and this including the losses. So these are net profits. You would have garnered 8,480, right? And but let me tell you, this does not include, I took so if you look at this list, I took McDonald's off. I put McDonald's as zero because McDonald's, the biggest part of that trade was in August, and August just started, so I didn't include any of July, any of McDonald's profits in this, and that trade profit gave us yielded over an $1,100 profit. So, I didn't include that in this month because only 400 of those profits would have been in this month, so that still would have taken us to almost $9,000 in profits for this month just by grabbing one contract for every trade that I alerted. So, I just have to the team got to get a shout out, just everyone for that, because again, it was a great week, great month, and just shout out to everybody who's just following the process, who's locked in and who's making money, right? So yeah, so big month, and look, so just look at this also off of our 175 monthly subscription. That's a 4,845.71% ROI on your $175 subscription. You know what I mean? So that was our biggest month of the year, and actually our biggest month. Well, actually, so I can't call it our biggest month ever now because I took the profits, because I'm the 400 from McDonald's would have been on here, at least 400 of that. But no, I couldn't, for auditing purposes. I got to be, I got to do things the right way. So McDonald's going to August, but so then this wouldn't be our biggest month ever then. So but yes, it was a great month and we crushed it. Now these were our profits for last week. So just for week ending, for just the week ending August the 2nd, we cleared $2,100 on this month. Again, that's still a crazy ROI on your monthly subscription, right? And we've been clearing over $1,000 in profits like every week, I believe. So we've been crushing it just on average. And so look right here, I just want to show another discrepancy in here. The Apple trade on Friday, it says zero here, but that trade went up to 24 something percent. But I cut it at break even, so I put it here at zero. So because I know a few people in the group who actually took profit on that trade and stuff like that. So some people take profit at a certain percentage all the time, but yeah, so I just put that as a zero profit here for that one. But you see the McDonald's trade is on this particular chart because this is just for the week, just for the weekly profits, and it's going to go into August. But that was an $1,150 profit on the McDonald's chart. We're gonna go over that chart in a little while too, because that was a crazy chart, and we foxed it all the way up. Yeah, really, really good week, really big week, really good week. So again, shout out to everybody, shout out to the whole team, everybody who's been locked in, just the newcomers, and we got so much more to go. Just we almost, I feel like we're more than halfway at our goal for the year, more than halfway past the goal for the year. So yeah, shout out to that. Now I'm gonna move on. All right, lessons learned recap. Who want to kick things off? Lessons learned recap. Now, before KK unmute, because I know she's gonna unmute, I want to say one thing. The last time we had one of these meetings, I let the team know, like, this is a time right here during the recap, lessons learned, and stuff like that for y'all to speak up. Let's say, for example, there was something that you learned that you didn't really know a lot about that actually was an aha moment for you, or could have been something that you struggled with and now or something. It could be anything. But these things, again, like I use this time to gauge how much support the team needs, because again, there are times when I'll alert a trade and just post a chart, and I've just assumed like, okay, well, my team already know the vibes, because during the recap lessons learned session of the weekly options forecast, they didn't have anything to say. So I'm gonna put y'all in this McDonald's trade, and I'm gonna go hit the tennis courts with my doctor for a few hours. And I know the team ain't gonna get out of this trade too early. They're gonna be fine, because during the weekly options forecast recap session, they didn't have anything to say. So I know they were good. They caught everything. We were fine. So that's what I assumed. And then I see, and then when the market opens, like I said, look at that as game time. When the market is open, the coach don't got time to teach you to play now. during practice, if you didn't know the route and stuff like that, that's the time for you to ask the questions or look for clarification, so that way you'll know exactly what to do. You can't pretty much ask the coach in real time while we in a playoff game and we trying to get this win about basic things about the play or about how to run the route and stuff like that. That's not going to cut it because, or you may get a short response. It may come off a little curt or whatever, and it's not even intended that way. It's because during the time where it's important to pay attention or to ask those questions, y'all not asking those questions. And then when it's time, I don't want to wait till Monday morning and then I get like, well, can you post this chart or where do you think this stock is going from here? You posted this chart. And I'm like, hold on, that's something we could have unpacked during the meeting when on my free time Sunday, I got the market on my back and we trying to save the world during market hours. So that's not the time to be going through or even doing Zoom on a Tuesday or a Thursday or whatever day we on Zoom while we're trading. That's not a time to go break down that's not the time for that either. So these are the times where it's no, because I'm gonna tell y'all, I hear people say it's a lot of people and it really get me and again, no judgment to nobody, but it gets me, especially when males say it, that they're shy, right? But this is your money, like what do you tell your family when you go home after you worked all hard and then you lose $1,000 in the stock market because you were shy? You know what I'm saying? How are you going to tell your son that? You want him to be shy? You know what I'm saying? You got to be realistic about it. You know what I mean? If you got a question about something, or these are the times now, if you are shy and you really, really just can't do it, and you can't shake it, you can book a private coaching session with me too. We offer them too. But the whole point is like, this is the time where I'm actually here. I'm ready to unpack this and go down any rabbit hole that y'all need me to go down or whatever. But don't wait till the end because, at the end of the meeting is the end of the meeting, So, but yeah, KK, what's up? I know you got some lessons learned recap because you always do.
Look, you made me not even want to unmute. I was like, but I mean, what can I say? Meta. That's all I'm gonna say. Meta this week was crazy. I mean, of course, I made money in other trades. Lesson learned would be I took a lot of profit on McDonald's, but I should have just stayed in the trade. But I was watching a lot of trades, so I was like, I'm gonna take this and you know, um, but that would be my lesson learned. Like, just stay the course. I had a lot of time on that contract, so I should have just stayed in it.
I mean,
Um,
especially, hold on, but especially when I specifically told you that what that
yes,
trade was going to do.
he
So,
definitely did. I mean, specifically to me, not even anybody else. Like, I mean, even though he said it in the group. So yeah, so I will take that as my lesson learned for the week.
but
Um,
but you were in other trades too, so you have
yeah,
to do a process of elimination, and I think that's important. So go ahead, continue unpacking that. So I mean, you're not expected to just to hit everything and have
right.
everything, and you made a nice profit off of McDonald's. But go ahead, continue. My bad.
Right. Meta though was that would be my trade of the week. We did of course Meta had earnings Wednesday evening. Um Kwame asked Antoine where he think Meta was going. Meta, and he specifically said in the group 520. Meta went to like 527 that morning. I was already in the call side. But then the market, the market does what the market does. And then I'm looking like, okay, it's pulling down. I mean, I took profit. I think I took over $800 profit on the call side. But then it started coming down. Then I'm like, okay, it's coming down, but let's look at the rest of the market. Like, what's going on? SPY's coming down, QQQ coming down. And, I try to pick up and pay attention to a lot of things that Antoine says at different times because, you never know when it's going to apply. But I saw Apple also coming down and coming to 220. And I'm like, okay, I know the last time he said something about, Apple losing this level, could, change the way the market is looking. So, uh, me and Jamie were in the group, in the
Shout out to
Discord just
Jamie.
talking, and Jamie said, "Hey, I just seen one of Antoine other charts, and he said if Meta lost 500, it's going to 490. Wait a minute. I'm very peaked. Like, okay. Now Meta at this time it still hadn't lost the lower day that for that day. So I was just watching for that. As soon as that happened, I was in the trade. I turned 600 to 1600.
Yeah, it
So
was a banging trade.
yeah, that was a crazy trade for me. So just putting all those pieces together, watching the board, because it isn't just, yes, you watch that stock, but the stock market is doing what it does. So I just trying to hone my skills. That's all. But
And
yeah.
and one thing I want to say about what you said about with the meta situation. Now we trade meta so much in this group. I mean, probably I don't know. We trade a
Hmm.
lot of stocks, but I'm saying like I would say more than 50% of our profits probably come from meta.
Right.
So um, but so there are meta charts everywhere. It's almost yeah. So you gotta it's just about the initiative sometimes, just taking the initiative. You gotta be able to we it's a lot of resources. It's things that I talk about all the time, and it'd be a lot of people talking, they want to talk that talk and just be, they want to whatever they want to be inside or whatever. But I'm talking about just trading, right? If and so but when it's time to show that you got that sniper instinct and that you're ready, I don't see the people really stepping up to do that a lot. So like I said, if I'm not paying attention, we all crash and burn. But that was a real shout out to y'all because y'all went and y'all found those charts and was actually executing the trade. It was a few of y'all that were in those trades
Right.
executing and stuff like that. Like shout out to the young boys in the group, the young boys. And it always blow my mind when I see that. It make me feel better. Like I said, I grew up in Baltimore City, so it's always good to see hungry young guys from Baltimore or from anywhere, just
Hmm.
because a lot of them they're not even from Baltimore, but they young and they hungry and they following this process and they not scared to make a mistake and they
Right.
like some of the biggest profits, the biggest performers in the community. So just shout out to them and shout out to the women, like all of the women always the women it just it be the women and the young guys. But yeah, so just shout out because it's easier. I guess it's also easier to I'm not making no excuses for nobody. It's just I'm just shout out to them. I don't want to just
Yeah,
taint.
I got a special shout out to JBK. Thank you so much for just putting me right on point because I'm sure she was in it because she was on point. And shout out Daquan, of course, my little bro, because me and him go post up profits every time. I love to see
Hmm.
it.
Yeah, it's almost like you, Daquan, and then Strat Ups a lot of times too. Y'all be into y'all entries and exits be like almost identical. So it'd be like crazy. That's how
Absolutely.
you know, like it be really that's how I know who really understand those support and resistance levels, like in real time. So yeah, but no, like I said, we had a great week and a great month, biggest month of the year. And so like we definitely already cleared over $35,000 on the year. So per single one option per trade. Like I said, there's some people in here who buy more than one option per trade. The people that buy two, they up 60 over 60 bands. Well, that would be 70 bands for the year already. You know what I'm saying? And we just passed the halfway mark. So we're just crushing it. And like I said, it's nobody, and I ain't trying. I'm a talk. I'm gonna speak up for my community or for my business, because I should. It's other people out here doing what I do, right? But they're on the per option, on the profit basis. They're not doing that. Like for example, I'll tell you, like I'll see like KK Daquan Strat Ops or whatever. For the most part, them they'll buy one contract and make $1,000. And then I'll see other people buy 10 contracts and make $1,000. You know what I'm saying? It's like they leveraging a lot more money and they're only leveraging like 100, 200, $300 sometimes. and they profit in the same amount because, I teach snipers, and then most of the time my trades we have our entries. I'm looking for an entry where we got the strongest opportunity of making the best profit on this trade. And that's what I'm looking for. And like I tell you, it's a lot of other people doing what I do out there. And if they were taking my trades, they would be making more money than they're making right now for themselves. So that whole 30% thing, buying 50 contracts and selling at 30%, that may be good for people with that type of money or and stuff like that. But for regular people who just trying to take who working regular jobs and stuff like that, that's trying to make some money, you taking profit, you paying, you know, um, 200, 300, $500 to get into a play, or 200, and you taking profit at 30%, you're not really making a lot of money. That's not a whole lot of money, but most of our trades they clear more than 100%. On average, our trades are clearing over 100%, like most of our trades. So, and like I said, we getting in at certain points. So if you where you need to be, you just got to lock in on the process. You really do. Like, this is what I really do, and I'm eager and hungry about this. So if you really need help, and you really just take a step back and just go through the how-to guide, and just take a step back and see what you're doing wrong, and just start from the beginning and move on. But yeah, just again, if you're not profitable yet this year, you got a whole nother chance to reset again, because we're gonna make another few $1,000 this year. And when I say few, I mean, like, I'm looking to at least clear another 10, $15,000, per single option. So that means for each trade, just one option. That's what I'm looking for y'all to be able to do. So don't forget, because what another thing, because for the psychological part of it, people will look at like, okay, well, last time I traded this stock, it did this and this didn't work out and stuff like that. You can't let those things stop you. You know what I mean? I'll be in a meta trade, I'll get in a meta trade and it don't work out, and then the next trade will be a meta trade. You know what I'm saying? But it's because I'm trading my setup. I'm trading things that works 80% of the time, 90% of the time. So that's what I'm doing. But and then I also want to think, since nobody said this or whatever, and KK can tell y'all this too. There were so many, we could have cleared, I think we could have cleared over $10,000 for July, and then even another probably a good $700, $800 for the first week of well, for the week ending 8/2, because, but I'm gonna tell you what held me back. What held me back is the strangles. Like, for example, when there's an economic event, like non-farm payroll data, y'all know I was anticipating that. I was up like at midnight the night before, anticipating non-farm payroll data. I already knew how that was about to come. And but I didn't alert a strangle for the first of the month. I didn't alert that trade because y'all been struggling with the strangles, and nobody's really asking the questions in real time, or the right questions. And a strangle strategy is an advanced strategy. It is not for everybody. And of course, you don't strangle everything all the time. I'm a big component of that. A big yeah, but the thing is like, like I said, we only strangle when there's a big economic event that the data is going to move the market in one direction or the other. We know it's going to be a volatile move. We're expecting a volatile move, but we don't know which way the market is going to go. That's when you strangle. Now in the perfect scenario, um, before the market open, because the reason you would get in a strangle is because the economic event happens pre-market. It happens before the market opens, so you don't have time to react to it. And typically you get that big move, so you'll already know which direction the market has chosen before the market opens. So it's not an issue about, oh, which side should I cut, or did the market already choose a side for you and do that, right? So that was a big discussion we had a few weeks ago, and I thought we covered it, and then I still see that that a lot of people didn't take or didn't profit from the strangle. And I'm just I'm basing this on the amount of contracts that got posted in the Options Wins channel. So when I don't see, any, and I know we had a great or a big trade, I just assume that people just fumbled the strangle and didn't know what to do. So I'm like, you know what? the extra 800 or $1,000 that we could make on this particular trade right here, it's not worth the team losing money because they won't, because they so I'm just not going to alert the trade today. We made enough money already, so we good. And that was the reason why I didn't alert a strangle going into non-farm payroll data, so that was the main reason that didn't happen. And so yeah, but that's just something. So what I wanted to say about that is, so if you're not sure, or if you never heard about something before, don't be so quick to make money that you're just going to jump into a trade. You know what I'm saying? If it's a strangle and you're not sure how to play a strangle, just sit this one out. It's going to be so many other trades. Like most of our trades are not strangles. Like that's economic data. Sometimes we do that for economic data, but you gotta, yeah, you gotta be on point with that. Then there was another situation where there was a trade that was alerted, and it was for GDP. So, we've been doing this. This is my fourth August. This is my fourth August running this community, right? So 4 August is in a row. And we've never traded GDP without a strangle before, ever in the history of this community, right? So um last week, or I think it was the week before last or whatever, there was a trade that I alerted. I alerted a put earlier in the afternoon. And then before the market closed, I alerted a meta call. You know what I mean? That was a hedge to just for the strangle. I'm like, just in case GDP runs up, I'm gonna put this meta call because then this happened. But what ended up happening the next day, GDP was bad. GDP came in bad, didn't come in as good as expected, and the market continued to drop. But Meta had gapped up. Meta was up like $7 pre-market, and when by the time the market opened, it it moved back down, but it still gapped up, right? And those contracts opened up, and and so before they went negative, they were positive. But that was again, that was the other side of the strangle, right? And my thing is, when market opens, now I wasn't available that Thursday morning because, I was out, I was out, I was out the night before. I had a good night the night before. So and again, I didn't need to be up anyway, right? But the yeah, the play was intact. I see that my snipers knew what to do with it, and that things worked out greatly. But then I noticed that there were other people, because I got a few messages from different members, from two members, and they were like, well, this is what the message that I got. It was like, are we still in meta? And this is like later on in the day after the meta call that was $170, that cost $170 to get into the trade. It was all the way down to, like, I think at that point it was like down to like $20 at the time that I got that message. And and then I got one of the messages I got, it was when the trade had got down to $50. But my thing is, but then on the flip side, I called out a SPY play the day before. That's the same day. And that SPY trade profited over 500 and something percent, right? But a lot of people sold the SPY call. They sold the SPY put at a small profit, a trade that profited and ran over 500 and something percent. But they held the meta call that was down 90% until it dropped to that low. So think about that. I want y'all to just think about this for a second. So you're selling your winners too soon and you're holding your losers too long. Either way, you could, if those questions were asked in the community about either one of those trades before you made a decision, or before things got ugly, an answer would have been given. But then I went back and read the chat, because I go and read the chat. There was a few snipers in the group at Thursday morning at market open, was like, oh, I just bought meta puts. I sold my meta call. I'm buying meta puts now. And a lot of people were up a lot of money on meta puts. And so I'm like, well, why would you still be holding meta calls if people are in meta puts? And it's just like, so at this point, you can't just be in every trade if you don't know how to manage these trades. You know what I mean? And like I said, based on the type of questions that I get, or the type of feedback I get during this recap session of this meeting right here, determines how much additional assistance I'm going to provide. Now, remember, like, I fired my job several years ago. So I want to put my team in a position to make a lot of money, but I'm not going to be tethered to to the market all day, every day, to just because y'all won't ask questions on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? When this is a meeting where we here to kind of get clarity and to get prepared for the upcoming week and stuff like that. So just know that so listen, no judgment about y'all not asking any questions or sharing y'all lessons learned. But we got to shake on the fact that you won't have me that often during the week for stuff that we could have covered here. Like, anything that we could have covered here during my free time. I'm not making no money for y'all being here. I'll stay here I've been on the longest meeting I think on record, KK. We had one of these was like 6 hours.
Six
And
hours.
because people kept having questions about charts and we just went down rabbit holes and we just was on there for hours. So, and it's my free time. But so yeah, but again, that's why when you do it, when your only goal is the money, then things don't work out a certain way. But when your goal is to actually to the passion or you love something, and it's different. So I'm not trying to make this what y'all love and what y'all do, but what I'm saying is if you working hard for your money somewhere else, you definitely don't want to just be dumping it in the market and you don't know what you're doing. I cannot see the questions in the chat on the Discord, I mean on the thing, because it's the way the screen share is or whatever. If anybody's in the Discord in our group that got any questions for me or comments, you can type them in the Discord and I'll see them because I got that screen up, but I cannot see any of the questions that you ask in the Zoom. So if you have a question or a comment, you got to unmute so I can hear. Um, but yeah, but I'm gonna move on from here and let's go ahead and see what's up next. Yeah, so look, this is a weekly overview, right? So last week, this is our Wall Street performance. The Dow dropped 1.5%. We had the S&P drop 1.8%. And the Dow, it fell 10%. So we entering correction territory right now. And the Russell was down 3.5%. The VIX spiked to over 50% this was the highest since November of 2022. And Bitcoin was down 5.9%. So we had a lot of red in the market now. But look, on the flip side, um, McDonald's, they missed earnings. They missed earnings, and but there was some information that there were some things that they were talking about, making some revisions to their dollar menu and a lot of the profits and stuff that weren't going to show up on this particular quarter. So there's something in the guide that made it look a little more attractive, even though the earnings was terrible. And I was telling KK a few weeks ago that the company that sells the frozen potatoes or whatever for the French fries and stuff, they were seeing a lot of turmoil. So it was going to affect companies like McDonald's and stuff like that. So, and then Amazon on the flip is down 10%, erasing 197 billion in market value. They got it down. The guide was weak and they missed revenue. So yeah, so that's what happened. We profited off that trade too. That was a nice trade on Friday. Yeah, so question. So like, I mean, so based off of that information though, do you think or how you feel about us going into a recession? Let's talk about that with regards to the jobs report, the summary of the jobs report. Because people, like I said, we were waiting on that non-farm day payroll data, biggest report of the year and well, biggest report of the year for me. And so let's just go over it a little bit. So now, obviously, Powell needs to be concerned about this, but the jobs came in much weaker than expected. We know that we came in at 114K jobs for July. That's the lowest since January of 2021. We also had because they always revising down or revising up from the previous month. So because like I tell y'all, like if they want the market, I told y'all this the other night before the report came out. If they wanted the market to go up or whatever, then they would have. I don't want to talk about that because I don't want to make it like they really be doing this, but it happens every month though. If let's say, because it be these revisions be astronomical, man. So like for example, we came in at 114K. Let's say they do a revision next month, right? For the July that came out, that was 114K jobs, right? That was less than the 206 that they were expecting, right? Well, I think yeah, it was something like that. But but the revision adds another 100K or 50K jobs to this. How you miss that? You know what I'm saying? Every month we get a revision up or down. So it's like, but the immediate reaction is, damn, it came in less than expected. We got, the jobs number came in a lot lighter than expected. So that means we lost some jobs that for the economy, right? And then but like I said, for June, we got a big revision. So it added 170K jobs for last month compared to the previously reported 206K. So if they wanted the market to go up the last report, or they didn't want anything to happen, so they reported that we had an increase of 260K, 206,000 jobs. So almost a quarter of a million jobs they reported that was added for July. I'm sorry, for June. But they just revised it down. They revised it down. The report for June, when they dropped the July report, they added the revisions for June. They said, oh no, actually it wasn't 206K jobs. It was 197K jobs. So that's a downward revision of 27K jobs. They do this every month. So that's why, you know me, I'm just looking at things for how it really is. And so yeah, the US economy, the unemployment rate rose from 4.1%. We thought it was going to be unchanged to 4.3%. So we losing jobs and unemployment is rising. And the Fed is trying to get unemployment down to 2%. Remember, so now look, but here we go. So now we got and it's the lowest, the highest since October of 2021. The instant reaction to this, stock market futures tumbled, the US dollar fell, and bond yields plunged. Now, so we already know based on this information, it just adds more fuel to the theory that the economy is slowing down, or the labor market anyway. And so this also, it sets that bets that we were already thinking that the Fed was going to cut rates in September, right? So this is adding more fuel to that also. So we'll see what happens now. But yeah, so do I think there's going to be a recession? I mean, I feel like the Fed was slow on cutting, on stopping the raising of the interest rates, but they had to do what they had to do. And but it is what it is. They're never going to be on time. You won't know what happened until stuff start to break, right? But do I think we're gonna go into a recession? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But the data is going to be based on the data. I feel like if we get rate cuts starting in September, we'll see how that reacts. But we got Jackson Hole coming up in a few weeks. So I think that's the 23rd, we'll see what Powell has to say about that before the September meeting, and we'll go from there. But I feel like one good thing about what's going on right now, the market is already doing most of the work for the Fed. So yeah, but yeah, as far as us having a recession, we have to let's follow the data and let the data take us where we're going. But so far, interest rates coming down, and but now we seeing weakening in the job market. But we'll see if this get revised up next month. So the job stuff, man, after all the revisions, we'll see what really happens and go from there. All right, upcoming earnings and economic data. All right, so we have a light week as far as Fed speakers, which is great. Great, great, great. We got Daly. She's speaking on Monday. Well, that's after the close. She's speaking Monday after the close. And then we got Barkin Thursday at 3 p.m. I don't know what they have to say, but we will see. We got ISM services PMI on Monday. We got the trade balance, and we got jobless claims on Thursday. So we don't really have much going on there. Let me switch over here. All right, so let's just hop into a few charts. We're going to start with QQQ because we're here. Now, the last time we had a meeting, I drew this head and shoulders pattern here. Now, remember, only this part of the pattern was here when I drew this and we were waiting for the rest of it to play out. Oh, it played out all right. You feel me? We came all the way down here. So a head and shoulders pattern is a bearish pattern. And, and so it played out to perfection, and you see where we are now. But now, if you zoom out a little bit, go to the weekly, we at a key level right here where previous resistance became support, and we came right back down here and tested this area here. So now we got a 222 continuation on the weekly here. for QQQ. And like I told y'all, it's down 10% from the highs. In order for a correction, in order for a market to go into correction or any stock or anything to go into a correction, it has to be 10%, right? Down 10%. So we're entering correction territory for the technology sector. So QQQ is an ETF that tracks the technology sector. All of the tech stocks are in this particular ETF, right? And so what do I see happening? I mean, we should, if we don't bounce here, because again, what I'm looking for at this point, we should get some sort of relief bounce if that's the case, right? Um, if we hold these levels. But what we got to also understand is these levels were created. The first time it broke above this level was May of 2024, right? All uncharted territory. And these levels are made to be broken too. So, and our 200-day EMA is down here. So if we lose this area here, if we actually were to lose this area down here, then the 200-day EMA would be in play. So what I'll say is, for now, I'm looking for a bounce. I'm looking for a bounce. If we get the bounce, if we get a bounce here, then I'm looking for it to close that gap up here. To close that gap up to what is that? 459.66. So if we're able to clear 450, 453.57, then we're looking for that gap fill up there at 456, right? But the thing is, the best way to play this would be off of a bounce, just to see how price bounces. Now, if we lose 450, 448.75, sorry, 444.47, I'm looking for a move all the way down to the 200-day EMA. So that's a nice flush move down, almost a nice yeah, that's a nice move down, like almost a $15 move down if we were able to do that. So let's keep that on watch, keep QQQ on watch for that move. Now let me move on quickly here. All right, so I'm gonna start with a different sector. I'm gonna start with Palo Alto. All right, so the reason I started with Palo Alto, we sitting nicely here at this 200-day EMA, right? We bounced off of it on Friday. Now look, so another reason why this stock is so important right now, y'all see everything that's going on with crowd. So if crowd, they had that outage that affected Microsoft, it affected all of those businesses. It affected, I think, Dell the largest, because all of those delays and cancellations they had. And so when they delay or cancel those flights, then they gotta, compensate those people and all of that. But so crowd, and then there are some lawsuits too right now for crowd. And so the stock has just been dying, and it's been dying, but it's the leader in the space. It's the leader in the space. So we need crowd, right? But if they're going to be going down and people are afraid of crowd right now, and we won't really get any real insight into what they're planning on doing and what the guide is until their earnings, right? So right now it's just we're in limbo. So if crowd is the leader in the space and people dump crowd, then Palo Alto is the next best thing. So yeah, so that's why this is one to keep on watch. And I like that bounce off of the 50-day EMA right there. And it also lines up with a key level too. So yeah, let's keep this one on watch. If we can clear 309, if we can clear 309, we should be able to close this gap up here to let me just mark it up really quickly. And I don't want to mark this chart up, but I'm gonna mark it here. So yeah, if we're able to get over that area, we should be able to get back up here into the 223.41. No, I'm sorry. What is that? 315.62. So we're able to clear 309, then 315.62 would be my target that I'm looking for. And so that's what I'm looking for Palo Alto. And then we can make a move a lot higher from there. But that's what I'll be looking for. Now, if we lose the 200-day EMA, then my first target would be 295.73. So if we lose 300, let's just say if we lose the 300 price level, Then 295.73 would be my first target, and then 286 286.58 would be my second target. But yeah, Palo Alto, this could be a nice one here off this bounce off the 200-day EMA. It's a few more targets in there, obviously, clearing that 50 at 320, stuff like that, but just one target at a time. This is a good stock to keep on watch. Go ahead and hit crowd since I'm over here. And just to let y'all know, like I said, I've seen the notifications, but I can't because of the way the screen is set up for the meeting, I can't see any of the text that get typed into the meeting on Zoom. So yeah, let me just 1 second. All right, cool. So we got crowd, man. So crowd chart is crazy, man. So look, so we may get some relief. Who knows? Who knows? So we coming back down to a nice level here, nice area here on the weekly. So let's see if we can actually if we hold, because like I said, I'm just looking for it to hold 200. If it holds 200, then that's great. That's a psychological area, psychological level. So let's see if it holds 200 right now. Hold on 1 sec. Like I said, it's under extreme pressure. We've been getting 222 continuation after 222 continuation. It's been breaking level after level after level. So it's just one of those things where we just need to kind of like just keep on watch and see if it actually gets a bounce at if it catches a bounce at 200, if it gets a break there, because it may or may not catch a break there. But sex, just make sure I um 1 second. All right, cool. Yeah, so my bad. Just trying to make sure I got everything lined up here. Yeah, so like I said, 200 is what I'm looking for, man. If we were able to, if we take out, if we lose 211, if we lose 211 and 200 is in play, but we could get a bounce here. We could get a bounce here and yeah. So I would look for a possibility of just a continuation down to 200. We may even get a retest up to maybe a retest up to 249 or something first, so close to it, and then a flush down. But yeah, I'm still, it could bounce, but I'm just looking for a pie. This was the first green candle that we had on this stock in 2 weeks. So yeah, since July 24th, yeah, July 22nd, my bad. It's July 22nd. This is the first green candle that we had, first green day that we had. So we could get a reversal. So if we can clear, if we can clear 221.50, then we could possibly make them. Like I said, to me, it's not the upside. I need a 222 reversal. I need a 222 reversal first. My first target again would be 224, so if we get over that 220, 150, 224, and then I will be looking for yeah, I just looking for a reversal first. Let's get a reversal on this one first. I ain't even looking to really play the upside on this one, to be honest, unless I see a real reversal, because it'll probably get rejected up here at the 9 EMA and make a move down. So we will see. But again, like I said, that's the first green day. That's a sign. That's a sign, but it wasn't, the volume wasn't wasn't really strong at all. So let's keep it on watch. And let me move on. That just go ahead. I got Microsoft here. Yeah, Microsoft report wasn't really bad, wasn't bad. The report was fine. And again, we already know they already utilizing AI and they already making money on it. And that's why we don't trade Microsoft. We didn't trade Microsoft earnings this quarter. and it did exactly what we thought it would do. It traded in the middle. So it clapped both sides of the trade. So if you traded Microsoft earnings, you didn't make any money. Even if the stock didn't move and you were deep in the money, you lost money because it traded in the middle. So, but Microsoft is notoriously known for doing that. They reported, the numbers weren't as good as they thought they were going to be, and then they came out and they they gave some good information during the guide, and yeah, the stock traded in the middle. But yeah, so right here is at the 200-day EMA, and that's why I'm talking about this stock right now. And it looks like we could make a move. Let's see what happens if we're able to, if it holds this 200-day EMA. So if it holds this area right here, then we can get a nice bounce. But if it loses this area, then I'm looking for a move down to 388 if we lose. So if we lose the 200-day EMA, so I'm just going to say, let's just, if we lose 403, we lose 403, I'm looking for a move down to 388. But let's see if we get a bounce here. Now, again, technology is in a correction right now. We're headed into correction territory. So even all of these stocks with good earnings, they've been dying. A lot they have a lot of CapEx spend, but they didn't give us any real clear information on when on when investors would to how much they were going to spend going forward. That's what we needed to know from Microsoft. We didn't get that information, and so people started selling the stock. But yeah, so keep this one on watch again. I'm looking for it. We this is just one of them situations where if we get a bounce here, then we could play it accordingly because it's a lot of levels this could possibly go to. So I'm just gonna say, over 415, then we can look for a move back up to 422, 422.95, and so on. So let's keep Microsoft on 422.95, then 425, and so on. But if it lose 403, then yeah, we got a nice free fall down to 388. So keep Microsoft on watch. All right. CVNA. Man, CVNA, they came in with a good guide, and the report was cool. They reported a beat, and they were expecting a loss. They reported a beat. Now this is the stock right here. Let me just zoom out so y'all can see what's going on here. This is the weekly chart right here. You see we starting to make that little pivot. We finished green on the week with a 222 reversal. Looking really nice here. Go back to the daily for a second, but the market is just earnings came out in this market. This is what we got. So what I'm looking for here, if we're able to clear 142.85, then we got a gap fill up here to 146.52. So that's a nice little move up if we're able to to get there. And then the next target would be at 154. Now, if we were to lose 133.78, then I'm looking for a move down to 130 and then possibly down to the 50-day EMA at the 121 price level. So, but yeah, this should be able, I like it's holding the trend, the structure is intact, and earnings were good. Let's see what happens here for CVNA. Now, CVNA definitely a benefit from those lower interest rates, people trying to buy more cars and stuff like that if them rates get cut. So that'll be another good one for that. Apple, Apple. All right. And Apple had a good report, and the stock held up pretty well. It was another stock that traded in the middle that we did not play. Yeah, so, but yeah, over the weekend, some news came out on Friday after the close that Berkshire Hathaway, y'all know that's Warren Buffett's company. They dumped half of their Apple stake. So we'll see if the stock responds to that tomorrow. So let's just see how that goes. That's a big news. They dumped half of the Apple stake. Now again, you buy low and sell high. And but we know Apple was one of the biggest stocks on the planet right now. I don't know if Apple reclaimed that title again. Yeah, I'm sure but Microsoft doesn't have it anymore right now. And I know Nvidia doesn't have it anymore right now. So the biggest stock on the planet again is Apple, right? And so um yeah, if Apple dies, then the market dies, right? If tech is coming down. So I don't know if there's something in store if they sold half of their Apple stake, and Apple was a pretty stable stock. So, but again, we keep it on watch. But here we got an inverse hammer. We finished green on the day, but with an inverse hammer. And yeah, I mean it's a 222 reversal, but it's not enforced. It's not enforced. We got to finished. We closed right under the 9 EMA. So let's see exactly what happens here. But if we're able to take out that 217, I say if we take out 217.70, then we should be able to make a move down to 212.70 at the 50-day EMA. That's what I'll be looking for. But the structure again is still intact. Um, let's watch Apple for a bounce also, because it finished price finish here at a key level for me. So, and it closed. So although we got an inverse hammer, we finished at a key level. Stock should bounce. If it does bounce, there's two ways to play this. You can play it if it takes out the high, if it takes out or if it takes out the 225.60. If it takes that out, then you can expect a move up to 227.5 and 230. But or you may miss the move. That may be a big move that you could miss if you wait that long. Because I say if Apple bounces, once it clears 220, I would play it up to I would play it up to 225. That would be my target to get out. You know what I'm saying? So if you plan it off the bounce, you can play it like that. But either way, if I see something with Apple, then of course, I'll alert it to the team. But keep Apple on watch. Let me see. Yeah, cool. We good on time. Try to get these last few charts in here. All right, so Roku, man, Roku actually reported a beat, and the loss that was better than expected. The loss was lighter than expected, and they even got it up. But the stock just don't really look good right now. So look at this. Hold up, let me show y'all something. Hold on. So right now, you see how we got this 222 continuation to the downside. Well, actually, it's a 22 continuation. We came up here, rejected the 9 EMA right here. It couldn't even get up there to the 50. Um, I'm thinking right now, if we take out the 450, I'm sorry, 52.95, then the 52-week low of 51.51 would be the next target from there. And then obviously if it loses that level, I'm gonna say 50 would be next because it's psychological, but I really think it really wants 445. I'm sorry, I said 445, the 45 price level. That's where I think it really wants to go. But yeah, this stock is, yeah, the market is in shambles. But actually Fubo actually got earnings this week too. So that's another stock that sometimes when we gotta just worry about the stocks that move together, the Netflix and Roku's and Fubo's and stuff like that, they all move together. So if depending on what happens with that, that could be something that could push the stock one way or another as well. But yeah, I think it's coming down. I think it wants to go a lot lower. So we'll keep this one on watch here. Roku. Speaking of that sector, let me hit Netflix. All right. So look, Netflix actually, I like the way this chart is set up here. I'm gonna go back to the daily first. Zoom this out a little bit. Yeah, this is Netflix, right? So I feel like if we could hold this area here, hold on a second. Because this is my clean chart. I'm trying not to draw any levels on this chart, but I'm gonna take it off right after I finish going over this chart. But yeah, Netflix is right here at a nice key level for me, right? So if Netflix is able to hold this, then we get a nice bounce, right? And then we can play this. If it bounces off this area right here, then my target would be 622 and then 628 and so forth, right? But if it loses this area right here, we coming all the way down, a nice free fall down to the 200-day EMA. So that's a nice, damn, that's like a nice 30 something dollar move down if it was to lose this area here. So this is a big trade to keep on watch. Now, you know, those Netflix contracts are expensive. So if it lose this area, you got some range to play on it. So we'll keep this one on watch. So just like my snipers, I know some people on here just you know, that's really paying attention to things, like keep Netflix on watch. Keep Netflix on watch for that level. So like I said, I know I always chart a good Netflix trade, and then I always forget about it because I'll be locked in on another place. So if it lose that level, somebody let me know if I haven't pointed it out. All right. So damn, did I? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and cover Meta. Meta had a great earnings, you know, but CapEx spend, like I told y'all the week, I mean, the few days before the earnings, the only thing I was concerned about was CapEx spend for Meta. The earnings call was great. Mark got on there, talked his shit. Susan Lee, she did a great job. She the CFO. They did a good job at explaining what they're doing with the money, because the issue is they you know, like they beat expectations, they beat revenue, EPS, and the guide was pretty good, right? But the issue was that they're gonna Mark Zuckerberg, like, you know, we invest in a lot of money in AI. These are the results that we have so far. And we're gonna continue to spend money, right? We're gonna continue to spend money, and just trust me, I got this, right? And his track record speaks for itself. We didn't know what they were gonna do with Threads at first. You know, Threads is like a year old now, and it didn't cost much to make Threads, but now they're monetizing Threads. We use it all the time. I'm seeing ads on Threads now, and they also running promos now where creators can make money off of the views on their Threads, and Threads been killing. My average thread gets over, you know, over 1,000 views and stuff. So like, just because we talking about options and stuff, or whatever the situation is, they got, it's almost like how Instagram, they found a way to work that algorithm in there. So Mark doing what he need to do with Threads, and that's just going to be some free money that's come, more free cash flow that's going to be added to Meta because of Threads. And then they got the new AI assistants and all of that other stuff that's going to really bring out a lot of revenue in. And the difference between Meta than any of these other ad-based companies like Amazon or Google, who actually they beat earnings, and the guide wasn't too good, and they missed the I think it was the YouTube numbers, but their CapEx spend increased, but they couldn't tell us specifically how they were going to spend the money. But the difference with Meta, from Meta and all of these other companies, Meta got the capabilities to tell a company that you tell us exactly what your ideal audience is and what you want, and we will plug that into our system and we will target those people. So Meta got it. You know what I mean? So Meta is the moat in that regard. So yeah, so Mark said they're gonna keep spending money. The people still didn't like it, but the stock still went up. You know, like KK said earlier, the stock, it closed at right around like 475 or something like that. They asked where I thought Meta was gonna go. Um, 520, that was my target. It actually cleared that target. But, you know, we did have some news that came out that morning, and it brought the whole market down. So it wasn't like, you know, after Meta ran and everything, the market just came down. Everything came down after I forgot what data it was. It doesn't matter. I think it was the ISM services PMI, manufacturing PMI, not the services. That's what came out, and it took the market down because we back in a cycle where good news is good news and bad news is bad news. Everything came down, right? And it was also the day after the FOMC. And so, you know, we got that out the way. But anyhow, Meta found a way after all of that selling off. Meta found a way to climb back over its 50-day EMA on Friday. So we will see. And we finished with a doji candle. So that means bulls and bears are agreeing on the same price, right? So that's where we are right now for Meta. And let me zoom out a little bit because we still holding that breakout and some more on this. Yeah, and then I like the way the weekly, we got that 222 reversal and finished higher than much higher than the previous week. And it's still looking good. So when you zoom out, Meta still looks great, you know. You just take a look at this since the month just started. See how we finished that. Yeah, I just don't like that monthly chart, but it's everything is still intact here. But like I said, technology looking really bad right now, and we'll see exactly how this plays out. But what I do like is yeah, Meta right now, I just need it's the range is too wide for me right now. The range is too wide for me right now. But if Meta was to lose 476, if it loses 476, then 460, 55 is in play, then 453, 58 is in play, and then we got our low of 442. And then we got our 200-day EMA down there under that. But if Meta finds a way, if it holds this 200-day EMA now, because again, that's where we're going to be playing my move from now. Because think about it, we got two ways to play this. If it holds this 50-day EMA, then I'm looking for that gap fill as my target. Now it's risky to trade like this, especially if you don't know how to read charts and price action and stuff like that. But like although the 50-day EMA right here is also a level, I have a level right here. And I'm trying not to mark this chart up, but it's a level right here. And so if we bounce off of this level, then I'm looking for a gap fill as that bearish gap fill as my price target, which would be the 497.74. So again, so we bounce off this area right here. That's a nice little that's a nice move, like almost a $10 move into that gap fill area. Now, if we were to clear um back over 500, I'm gonna say back over 501 or whatever, then we can start to possibly make a move a lot higher. But again, for now, let's just do one candle, one traffic light at a time, and let the chart play out accordingly. Now let me hit these last few really quickly. I'm gonna do McDonald's first. Yeah. All right, so I just wanted to go over this chart really quickly because it's a beautiful chart, probably the chart of the week. And so yeah, this was the thing for me right here. When McDonald's cleared, ignore some of these lines on this chart. They don't belong here, and they just are on here. I'm not going to take them off though right now. But I just had to get VWAP out of there. It's bothering me. But look, so here it is right here. So um I was looking for McDonald's to get out of here. I was looking for it to get out of this area here. And when we cleared that area, we retested it because I was telling KK, I said, we need to close over this area here. Every last few times we ran up in this area, we got rejected up in here. And I was looking for a close. When we got that close over it, we ran, right? And then so I was looking for my target was the 200-day EMA. We hit that 200-day EMA and yeah, but this is what I was looking for on Friday. On Friday, we got a strong close over the 200-day EMA. So yeah, and so we can get a pullback, but hopefully a pullback down to something that means holding the 200-day EMA and then a continuation higher. So, but yeah, I feel like it's a little extended here. So but that not doesn't necessarily mean anything. Look how much it has sold off though. It has sold off a lot, and we finally getting back up into a new area that it was been rejecting for a while. So it's a lot of run back up into this. But the only problem is, like I said, McDonald's had a bad earnings, and so just seeing that people dumping money into this stock and it run up, but yeah, but that's what's been going on. But yeah, I just say keep McDonald's on watch because if we are able to clear 276.81, then I'm looking at 280 and then possibly 285 as the next targets. If we lose the 200-day EMA on this, yeah, again, it's hard to really play to the downside on this one because right now, I would need this to drop at least $10. It would have to drop at least $10 before me to for me to look at a bearish target on this one. So what will happen is if it lose the 200-day EMA right here at 274.94, then you can go to a lower time frame and look for a setup on it. That's the best way to play it because I'm still bullish on it. It's just extended, and I'm just looking for it. But the fact that we closed over this 200-day EMA, you can back test that and see how bullish that could possibly be for this stock. And just the last stock I'm gonna cover really quickly is DoorDash. DoorDash, man. So DoorDash, they reported last week, and you see we got a nice gap, and it finished green with a hammer here on Friday, and we're in a gap fill area. So that's one of the things I wanted to point out about this particular stock right here. We got a nice area, nice gap fill area that we just started filling here. And I think this is from the last earnings where it came down. So let's keep this one on watch, because if we're able to clear 120, we clear 120, we can make a nice move up to 127. What is that? 127, let's call it 127.5. That's a nice move up for DoorDash and so on. Now, if we were to, because again, the stock, I like the way the stock looks, but I'm gonna just say if we were to lose that 113.61, then look for 112.30. I'm gonna say no, look for 110. Look for 110 if we were to lose that area, and then possibly so on. But I'm looking for it to be bullish here. So yeah, keep that on watch. Nice earnings, nice breakout here. Y'all see this flag, this wedge here. Y'all know I like a nice flag, a nice wedge. And I'm trying not to mark this up, but I just wanted to identify this right here. And we got that breakout and the stock looking great. But yeah, that's all I wanted to cover for today. I said I'm gonna try to finish this in an hour, man, and keep it going. So we got finished in an hour. And again, thank everybody for locking in. And I didn't want to hold y'all for too long. We got through everything. And again, I'll see y'all on next week or this week.
Thanks so much for your
Cheers.
time. We appreciate it.
No problem. Have a
Appreciate
good
you,
night.
Brody.
No problem.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate you.